Alrighty guys, I am back from ECT. I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of stories of East Coast Throwdown. It went super well this year, there were a bunch of people, and I'm sure you've seen a couple tweets, a couple stories, including a certain tweet right here. And you may have seen my replies. There's a little story of what happened back there. But before that, we're going to go into a little bit of what I did over the weekend, and yeah, some other fun stories. So we'll take it from the top. So initially, I got my commentary acceptances, and they were like, okay, cool, you're going to be doing so-and-so blocks on so-and-so days. And I was like, all right, awesome, sounds good. I was like, oh, so happy to announce I'm going to be doing Pools commentary for Strive. Now, they had released the schedule a decent while back, and Strive was only on Saturday and Sunday. But for whatever reason, if we click in here, why does it say Friday 10 a.m. and Friday 2 p.m. EST? So that is not a fault of the East Coast Throwdown organizers or the person who published the schedule. I had a moment of all time, and I just totally misread the date. And for whatever reason, I put this on the announcement. If we scroll down here, I think we, let's see. I don't know if David responded with it or if he DM'd me, but he was basically like, dude, you should know that there is no Strive going on Friday. And if we head into the quote tweets, yes, my block was actually Saturday 10 a.m. and then Saturday 2 p.m. But you know, sometimes telling the date's a little hard. Either way, there were some super fun blocks. 10 a.m. is a pretty difficult time slot, I gotta say. Everyone's got to do it. The morning time slots are, you know, they can be difficult, especially if your sleep schedule is not adapted to it. I thought I would be stronger as a 9 to 5 worker, an 8 to 5 worker actually. I was like, dude, my sleep schedule is perfectly fine. I'm the man for the job. I get up there, I've already had breakfast, I had a big coffee, I got another Red Bull waiting for me on the desk. I was so tired, man. That's no one's fault aside from my own. I guess I just didn't get as much sleep as I thought, but like, dude. I was like, all right, guys, welcome to East Coast 2023. And then I just paused on the mic. I was like, Throwdown. And then another pause. And I was like, no, dude. And then, you know, tripping over a couple words, forgetting some move names, etc., etc. I was trying to make small talk while, you know, waiting for matches to come onto the stream. And my mind would just like blank out. I'd be like, yeah, next up we have... Yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool to see some Anji though. You know, Miyadare, very, very interesting move. I'm like scrambling for a segue. So 10 a.m., not my brightest block, but it wasn't bad. And minus chilling out with him on the mic was a good time regardless. Even though I was a little more eepy than I would have liked to be. So Saturday afternoon, that Scrub David and I went to go get some ramen. So we had mecha ramen, which was pretty good. We had a pork tonkatsu ramen, which was already pretty good by itself, but there was a $1 adder for some chili oil, which was like absolutely delicious, and it healed me for my block. And we also got a side of Vietnamese coffee. So not only was I like triple caffeinated by this time, I was full of some pretty delicious ramen. So we make our way back to the venue. It's 2 p.m. We pull up, and I have another Guilty Gear Strive pools block with Brad Muse, someone I've talked to before but actually never had a chance to work with. But he is a super fun guy to be hanging out with on the mic. So that was a very good time. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm cooking. I can bring the humor, I can bring the creativity, and of course the energy to the play-by-play as well. And I gotta say, something I really appreciate about Brad, especially in-person commentary, which I did not get a chance to tell him. Sometimes you'll be scrambling or like trying to find an opportunity to make like a witty remark or a joke on the mic, and you're like, and then, you know, sometimes obviously jokes land and sometimes don't. When I would have a decent joke or like a decent reference or cool wordplay, Brad would actively like look back at me and go, and I would feel like a genius. Whether or not the joke was actually funny, I was like, hell yeah. We're a team over here on the commentary desk. You know, even if I'm trying to be funny, if I'm not actually that funny, you're still here to support me. And you know what? That's good energy as far as I'm concerned. So that was another good block. And then for my final block of the weekend, let me see. What do I want to talk about first? We got some clips from Top 24, but we also have a surprise block that is not Guilty Gear Strive or Street Fighter 6 or Idol Showdown. Before we go into that mystery block, we're going to talk a little bit about Top 24. So I was, you know, staying over at a friend's apartment. That's Grub David, Axo player from New Jersey who currently lives in Connecticut. And he was nice enough to house me, drive me around, get lunch, etc, etc. He ended up making it quite far into the bracket. Spoiler alert, he ended up right outside of top 8. He was one set away, but Scambolini was simply too strong. And you know, that was a hard match for me to watch because I was rooting for both of them the entire weekend, and then they ended up in each other's paths. And I was like, oh no, dude, what do I do? But I have a slight bias towards David since he is a home homie. I've known him for a little bit longer, so we actually pulled up the cheer squad for David during one of his games, so you can see it here.
David in the lead again, but the minute I say that, he proceeds to get hit, and we're riding the lightning.
It's unfortunate the best representation of the cheer squad is him getting his ass beat, but like just wait for it.
That was
It was advanced Damascus, I agree. Oh.
You've been masterfully baited.
The stuff Acoustics gets away with on the mic is incredible. Look at this. I know that guy. I know that fella. Leading the cheer over there in the crowd. Let's go, David. Yes, so we have the whole, you know, this is like the tri-state squad. I was gonna say tri-state and Connecticut, but that just shows like how rough I am with geography. So yeah, the whole tri-state squad pulled up to cheer for David, which is a very fun time.
Did y'all need to see the crowd of like 10 people cheering?
He has an entourage.
Yes. Yo, he has an entourage.
Yeah, Acoustics and Damascus were like, dude, it's the fan club. They thought it was for Scambolini at first, but as they got later into the set, they were like, oh, this is the David fan club actually. There we go. But yeah, top 24 was super fun. David, again, making it right outside of top 8. But hey, it was to a really strong Kai player by the name of Scambolini. So shout out to the homie for doing so well. But yeah, that was really fun. And then between 2 p.m. Strive commentary and top 24, I think at like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., I had a surprise commentary block. I needed to fill in for a friend who was running a side bracket for UNICLR. A friend was commentating it. They were originally going to do the block together, but my friend Thomas Twang was going to commentate an event organized, but he also wanted to play in the bracket. So the night before, he hits me up and he's like, hey Jay, can you actually hop on the mic for UNICLR? I'm like, I've been trying to learn the game, but you should know my game knowledge is it's pretty low right now. I don't know a ton, but I can do vibes-based commentary if that's what you really want. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have Deadwood on with you, and he's been studying a ton too. So hey, if you are down to do it, I am absolutely fine with having you, not know everything about the game. I'm like, all right, cool, so I'll do it. So right after 2 p.m., I run to the bathroom. I immediately, it's the fastest pee of my life, and then I'm sprinting over to the community room, which thankfully, there was a security booth that needs to check your bag. Depending on the time of day, it got a little bit crowded, but usually not too bad. Thankfully, to go to the community room, you leave security. So I didn't have to worry about that. So I ran to the restroom, ran to the community room, and then we were chilling. They had another Red Bull for me. So this is like the 4th caffeine source that I've had during the day. Dude, also aside, big shout out to Erasmi. She was running around the entire event, pinging every commentator before their block. Hey, do you guys need anything? Do you need water? Do you need Red Bull? Is there any snacks or anything that I can get for you guys? So she was an absolute angel, and I owe her my life as far as Saturday is concerned, because I would not have survived without the caffeine provided by the team. So that was very sick of her. But yeah, I ended up doing UNICLR commentary, and I got this very, very nice picture with the homies. So we got Deadwood on the left here, Twang in the middle, who won the event after organizing it himself and getting all the players. And I think I know this Jaytsu fella over here on the right. Look at these cool little Siamese cat earrings as well, the classics. But yeah, there were a lot of fun matches over there. Obviously, I don't know a ton about UNICLR. I'm no expert on the video game, but I have been trying to study up on it a little bit. But we got some amazing sets here. So if you guys have not seen
Here we go.
Hadouken Supreme versus Hubby-kun.
That's the only people you can be talking. Oh my, please.
So it's already off to an explosive start. I got the lore on this afterwards. Apparently, Hubby-kun and Hadouken had actually met each other playing UNICLR at East Coast Throwdown 2022. So last year. So this is kind of like the, I guess, 1-year anniversary of them having met, and them playing on stream for top 8 is it's a cool little nod to the history. But this was a very fun set. Let me show you.
I'm hearing the
up laughing from across the curtain.
Hubby-kun is audibly
Dude, they were-
laughing, audibly yelling.
You can't hear it on the stream mic, but we were hearing them just shouting from the commentary desk.
Oh, you're back. Oh my god.
Yeah, the player cam was so crazy. Shout out RJ.
Yeah.
You gotta see their expressions now. Okay, close out game. That was only one game.
Oh my god. Maniacal.
Now, Hubby-kun was about to leave the venue. He was like, I'm good. I'm over the walled mirror. So that was a very fun matchup to watch, especially as someone who doesn't know the game that well. I'm like, he's just grabbing you out of your jump in. Like, this is kind of crazy. And Deadwood's like, yeah, actually, if you get the double circle, it gives you a lot more Oki. I'm like, I believe you. These fellas are swinging for the fences right now. So that was a highlight set of ECT, I gotta say. That one was very funny. But, you know, in between some of the sets, obviously we have to do ad reads. We gotta do, you know, transitions to various sets and, you know, advertisers, sponsors, etc., etc. I gotta do Deadward dirty right now. There's a couple funny clips from the weekend.
The OG Leverless controller. Make sure to visit hitboxarcade.com/ECT2023 and get yours today.
And Leverless might be the future. That's Hitbox. And we, of course, the ECT merch.
The OG Leverless
So,
controller.
what had happened was we had a sheet for our ad reads on the desk, right? So it was Hitbox and then the Hitbox cross-up, which is a version of the Hitbox where you have a analog stick as well as the Hitbox buttons, right? And I think for other blocks, they had done it in that order, but RJ, you know, doing production for the stream beforehand said, hey, we're going to be doing the ads out of order. And we were like, cool. But this was pretty late into the block, I think like an hour and a half, and we had just seen Hubby-kun versus Hadouken Supreme, so we were riding high off of the adrenaline that we had totally forgot about the ad reads being slightly out of order. So me, I was just reading off the slides, I'm like, hell yeah, Hitbox, the OG Leverless controller, and Deadward was like, alright, cool, easy. The easiest alley-oop for the Hitbox cross-up. Let me transition into it, and
Should visit hitboxarcade.com/
we gotta rewatch it.
2023 and get yours today.
And Leverless might be the future. That's Hitbox. And we, of course, the ECT merch.
And Leverless might be the future, but that's Hitbox. So it goes to the ECT merch slide, and Deadward actually has a pretty good save. I feel like a lot of people in that same situation would try and fumble and go, ECT merch though. But you know, the skill to recompose yourself and stop talking when you realize, oh, okay, I've introduced a different ad slide than the one that's actually on the screen. Pretty strong. So again, Deadward carried me throughout the block, not only on uni game knowledge, but also just bringing a lot of vibes and also player knowledge to the people in top 8. So big shout out to him. I say, leading into another clown shoes situation. So we got another clip here.
We got more losers coming up, which means that players are going to be...
We got more losers coming up. And I know he meant we have more people in the losers bracket, but you know, bracket is such an important word there, right? Yeah, we got more losers bracket games coming up versus, yeah, we got some more losers coming up. So I'm poking fun at Deadward over here, but it was an absolutely amazing block. It was really fun to kind of play the hype man. I usually lean into analysis as far as my commentary goes. So to kind of, you know, shift it into, oh, okay, let me try and bring hosting, but also kind of try and bring the energy to the set so that Deadward can fill in with the analysis, the game knowledge, and bring a lot more depth to the broadcast. It was an interesting switch of events. So hopefully I get a little bit more time to study for uni, and hopefully I'll see you guys for another block of it. Oh, and yes, like I mentioned before, Twang, the event organizer and our good friend, actually ended up playing in the bracket. But he also, if we look over at this top 8 graphic, made it to first place. So I don't think he actually dropped a game in his entire path. He had like a perfect run, which means as the event organizer, he was giving out the medals. But as first place, he also had to get a medal. So we have a cool little POV here.
Who's in first?
Who's in first?
Shout out Joaquin for recording.
Who's in first?
Who's in first, bro?
Nah, no way. No way.
It's funny, you can actually hear me over the curtain in the background.
Foul play.
Look at him. Had to give himself the medal.
Sham. What
Gotta
a
do
sham.
everything around here. Yeah, I know these guys. Look at that. And we also have the stream side POV. We go to the other side.
giving out the medals
he's
as
doing the
well.
medals too?
T-Wang.
That's so
Shout
funny.
I
out
recorded
to
this on my phone
coming
on the way
out
back,
from
so
the
apologies for the
Midwest,
black bars.
showing up that excellent Lynette.
Yep, Shaley for number 2 as well. There's no way he's gonna give himself the medal, right?
Yo, and let's
There's
see
no
it.
way he's gonna give himself the medal,
Who's
right?
number 1, Twang?
Excellent play. But
Just
who's
holding it
number
in his
one?
hands,
Who's
playing it
number
up for the
one?
camera.
Who's the big dog?
Love this dude.
Yes!
Hadojin in the back, he's like, hell yeah, dude.
And I think we got some words from Twang in just a second. So your winner, event organizer, and medal hander off is gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
heading over to the stand. So we got some words from our champion here.
Yeah, so then he goes into a little speech thanking everyone, which is very cool. If you guys want to check that out, the VOD is up on the Tampa Never Sleeps YouTube channel, and I'm not sure if his speech is in there. So worst case, you can also check out the Twitch VOD on... Do I have the link? I do, yeah. You can check it out at Juicy Game Night. So we got the VOD over there. So I'm not going to watch it for you guys right now. The final story that I have for you guys is obviously Guilty Gear Strive Top 8 happened on Sunday. So there I was, I'm watching Guilty Gear Strive Top 8. I'm like, hell yeah. A lot of good matches, a lot of good games. And there was a pretty big upset, right? So Tatsuo, previously known as Dunk Train, a very strong Nago player from Team Blitz, pulled up and I think was, he came in on winner's side, if I'm not mistaken. So he ended up facing Umisho, I believe, in Top 8. And it was a really close game down to the last wire, last hit. And he ended up taking the set 3-2. And I'm sure you guys have seen this tweet. All right, that one's for later. One sec. I'm sure you guys have seen this tweet from Zendo when they pick Nago. Immediately after the set, Umisho was like, oh my God. And I feel for her. You're fighting for your life out there, and they catch your natural reaction on the camera. Obviously, they cut immediately to the player cam, but it seems like she took it in very good spirits. She said, this might be the funniest picture of me ever captured. I was so pissed. I think she might have died to a back throw or immediately like right after a back throw. So, it was a scramble situation to close out the set. I'll tell you what, that put her into losers. Now, spoiler alert, she did end up winning East Coast Throwdown 2023, but, she had to play a lot more games than expected to get there. So I see this tweet as I'm sitting in the stands, in between sets. I'm scrolling through Twitter, which for my timeline is potentially dangerous. But I see this tweet from Zendo, and then as I'm about to retweet it, I'm like, dude, this is so good. There's an empty seat right next to me from where I'm sitting, and Umisho happens to be looking for a place to sit, and she's like, oh, is anyone sitting there? I'm like, no, you're good. And I like turn my phone over because it's just her annoyed face. As I'm scrolling Twitter, I'm like, well, now I can't retweet it. You're like sitting right next to me. I would be doing you dirty, especially, right after the loss. I'm like, this would be too evil. I gotta save it for later. And then obviously I see that she's taking it in good spirits. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I gotta hit it with a retweet. And then eventually, of course, like I mentioned, she does end up winning ECT. So I'm like, okay, I feel even better about posting this. It's just part of the hero's journey. Sometimes you got to get knocked down one peg and then come back so much stronger off of the loser's bracket momentum. So again, congrats to Twang, congrats to Umisho. And yeah, East Coast Throwdown 2023 was a super fun time. If any of you guys get the chance to go in 2024, I am sure to put it on my list of majors and regionals to go to because it was an absolute blast. And it's not too far of a commute from where I'm at, but oh yeah, and we got a little bonus clip. So Twang, obviously, I sent this over to him when the VOD went up for UNICLR Top 8, and I was like, my face when I see Twang in grand finals fighting for which medal he's gonna have to give himself in the ceremony. And he was like, oh, it's so funny. And now he is down in Puerto Rico, I believe, is where First Attack is. So he's over at another competition already. And, they came a little early to explore the town, explore the way. And all of a sudden, I see this in my quotes from Juice. From the man himself. All right, let's take a watch.
You think I'm fighting for first? Nah. Losers finals is fighting for second, bro. I know I'm getting first. You know why I hosted this tournament? Because I was winning, bro. Oh. Yo, for me.
Hope I don't get DMCA'd for that background music, but that's winner's mentality. I'll tell you what. So seeing this 9 a.m. in the office, I'm like, hell yeah, that's my boy. I love that for him. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed a little recap of ECT 2023. I want to say the next event I'm going to be heading over to is Frosty's. So for those of you who are free at the end of January 2024, make sure to say hello, and I will see you guys there. All right, gamers, Me when I hit my desk. All right, one more time. From East Coast Throwdown 2023. So that was an absolute blast, and it was a